Hey Fraser Coast, it's Mac with you. And I, like many people on the Fraser Coast, came across a video today that showed a lady being removed from a cafe by a large number of police. Her crime was not showing her vaccine passport. Honestly, I've worked and socialised with some great police officers locally. They do not want to be doing this on a Wednesday at lunchtime. Let me make it clear. The police do not want to be doing this. They realise it's ridiculous. This is the Queensland Labor Party's fault. That's whose fault it is. It's not the police. This is the Queensland Labor Party. The police know this is crazy. They don't want to be doing this. I really wish we could talk to the Queensland Police, but unfortunately, like medical staff at the moment, they can't. This is a government using emergency power unjustly. It needs to be revoked.
I'm happy to show you my information.
You don't have that.
What are you doing? What are you pulling that back away?
Leave her alone.
What is the civil
Leave her
right in
alone.
that case?
I am happy to provide my name and address.
Hey Matt, can you tell us what happened at the cafe today, please?
Well, I guess the backstory is on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, we had a paddy wagon with 3 cops come out and ask if we were adhering to the legislation, and we let them know that kindly that we were adhering to state and federal legislation. We've got check-ins on every door and at the back of every menu. We're doing everything that we should be doing. So they said that someone had sent a video that had done telling people, our guests, how we're trying to navigate through the mandate and provide outdoor areas with QR codes so they don't have to come inside the premise if they don't want to. I was told that was incorrect information, and we need to be checking everyone's vaccination status, and that was that. So today we got another 5 police with two vehicles come in to see us, and asked to see me outside. I thought 5 people was a little bit excessive, but they said that's just the way it went. And they said the same thing. Someone has reported that we're not checking for or we had someone here that was not vaccinated. And I said we're adhering to the state and federal legislation. We're doing everything we can. She pointed out what we are doing to adhere to the legislation. And then they kept on asking more questions and said that they were going to go and do a test on everyone and have a look and see if everyone is vaccinated. So off they went. They split and went around the cafe, and one lady didn't feel that she wanted to share her medical records with the police, and they arrested her. 5 police forcing her into the back of a paddy wagon, which we were all very distressed, heartbroken and a little bit disgusted that this has happened in not just Hervey Bay but Australia.
Do you think that this might just be an example that they're trying to show the public?
It could be, but I don't think it's setting the right sort of tone for they don't know what the backstory is for someone if they don't have a vaccination, It is very, very hard to get exemptions. After my first Moderna vaccine, I've had heart palpitations and tightness in my chest, which I'm going to be having an ECG for, or 24-hour ECG I have to have. I know a lot of people that have been coming into the cafe, and they've said they've got relatives that have, that have cancer and they can't have a vaccination, and they can't bring their family and friends out for a coffee with them because of these things. And I don't know, I just feel it's a bit harsh to not let someone that just because they haven't had a medical procedure not come into a cafe or restaurant. We understand that the mandate's there and that we do adhere to the state and federal legislation, but it is a bit hard when it is conflicting. They actually put her in a holding cell for 2.5 hours. They fingerprinted her. I mean, I'm sure she'll tell you all this too, but it's just disgusting. They treated her like a criminal. She's your mother, she's your auntie, she's your sister, and they've 5 police for her not showing her medical records, putting her in the back of a paddy wagon. It's just, it really doesn't need to come to this. And it was, I think they arrested her because she was obstructing, because she didn't want to be arrested, because she didn't want to show her medical records. She has a $1,300 fine and she's got a court date. So yeah, I think it's horrendous, the treatment that she's had, and all she did was come out for a cup of coffee.
I've got Baz with me. Baz has spent years in breakfast radio. You've been in the media industry. What did you think of that story?
Alarming. It certainly is. Obviously, it was taken by a citizen, so it's certainly not official police video footage. I'm not so sure that they would be very keen on that actually getting out. But then again, the police officers were very professional. They weren't aggressive in that sort of sense. So I don't think they have anything to fear. But obviously, as Matt sort of pointed out, this is very much the human face of it, isn't it? This is just a lady who could be, as you said, your mother, your aunt, your next door neighbour, being put into a paddy wagon because she didn't show her vaccination status.
Yeah, it's super weird. The whole thing is super weird. I do not blame the police officers. I totally blame the government for this one. And what a stuff up. With something like this, how come we're not seeing it in the current media?
Obviously, the official narrative is that they want people, for safety reasons, to follow all the COVID protocols. So anything that would run counter to that, they're not interested in showing. It's not getting that bandwidth. For example, why aren't we hearing things about, the increase in mental health problems or the increase in suicide ideation that have happened as a result of the lockdowns? We're not hearing any of that. We're only hearing the one side, which is that COVID is a virus that can lead to people dying, hence the reason why you've got to follow all the rules that we put forward.
It's absolute insanity. I was really upset when I found out about this today, and this government really needs to pull their socks up. Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Look, just quickly, I want to say, and I really hate to break Godwin's law here, which sort of says that the longer a argument happens online, the more chance it increases that it'll devolve into a reference to Nazi Germany. However, this very much was a papers, please moment.
Das ist nicht gut. Cheers, Baz. Contemplate this. We had 22,069 cases in Queensland over the last 24 hours. The sole purpose of scanning into business was to assist contact tracing. But it's clear that it's just humanly impossible to keep up now. So why are we still doing it? There's a very old quote that says, "The greatest form of control is fear." We have to do better, Fraser Coast.